So, this is gonna be a different kind of review? First, some backstory. Nintendo released their reputation-defining game console, the Famicom, on July 18th, 1983. It was later released in the US as the Nintendo Entertainment System on October 18th, 1985. The system effectively saved video games in the home console market following the infamous 1983 video game crash. Sega, looking to join the now growing home console market, decided to go head-to-head with Nintendo by making their own console. The Sega Master System would see a release in October 1985 in Japan and September 1986 in America. The Master System sold moderately well, just definitely not as well as the NES did. Then in the late 80s, Nintendo decided to enter the handheld gaming market, so they released the revolutionary Game Boy in mid to late 89. As such, in October 1990, Sega released their very own handheld system, the Game Gear. It sold alright, selling just 10 million units in its lifetime. Kinda similar sales to the Master System, but in comparison with the Game Boy's 118 million... Okay, yeah, Sega probably thought this console was a total flop, especially seeing how this ended up being the only handheld system they ever made, not counting the Sega Nomad, which was just a portable Sega Genesis. While the Game Gear wasn't as successful as Nintendo's Game Boy, it did have two factors going for it. It was in color, and it had a backlight, which were both pretty impressive to see for a handheld device back in the early 90s. It also had its fair share of decent video games, many of which having their own followings to this day, including a few titles that were made for Sega's mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic ended up getting games for the Game Gear between 1991 and 1996, and I have not beaten a single one of them. Yeah, I never really grew up playing any of these games, and I don't really have a desire to do individual reviews on each 8-bit Sonic title, but I don't want to just gloss over them like they're nothing. So for this video, I'm gonna attempt to play all of these games and see how far I can get into each of them, until I either get bored or just give up and move on. I get the feeling this video is not gonna please a very certain part of the Sonic fanbase. Also, I don't own a Game Gear, so most of these games are going to be played through different means. Mainly Sonic Adventure DX on GameCube, which I imagine is how a lot of us first got to play these games. Though a few of these 8-bit Sonic games actually have Sega Master System versions too. So I guess I'll be playing and/or comparing the Master System versions of these games by using the Wii Virtual Console releases. Just a warning, I am not an expert at these games, and I really don't have the attention span to keep on playing them, so just expect disappointment ahead. With all that said, let's get this video started with... 8-bit Sonic 1 released on October 25th, 1991 for the Master System, and December 28th, 1991 for the Game Gear. This came out just 4 months after the Genesis version. While Sonic Team worked on the Genesis version, 8-bit Sonic 1 was developed by the Ancient Corporation, who are still in business today making games. Good for them. In fact, this was the first ever video game they made, and I couldn't get past the second level. Yeah, get used to me giving up on these games rather quickly, but from what I did manage to play of this game, it seems alright. I think the graphics and music are pretty decent. Plus, this version of Sonic 1 has different zones compared to the Genesis version. That's actually pretty cool. So in summary, I only managed to beat Green Hill Zone, and got kinda far in Bridge Zone, got a game over, and shut the game off. But like I said, the music is really good. While there are a few 8-bit renditions of the Genesis tracks, there's mostly original music that had to be made for this version, which is pretty sweet. Bridge Zone's music is godlike. I don't think there's anything else I need to say. There's a hack of this game called Sonic 1 FM, which is a version of this game that has the soundtrack coming out as FM music using the Sega Master System's YM2413 chip, so the music is in much better quality. If you really like this game's soundtrack, I recommend looking up this hack. I haven't played this hack for myself, but I figured I'd give it a shout out anyways because it's pretty neat. Oh yeah, I guess the most noticeable differences between the Game Gear and Master System versions of these games is that there is mad screen crunch on the Game Gear versions, while the Master System versions obviously give you more room to see. That's about all I know about the version differences, so feel free to leave a comment calling me a fake Sonic fan for not knowing all the specific changes. With that said, 8-Bit Sonic 1, I'm sure it's a very good game, I like the graphics and music, and that's about it. So, 8-Bit Sonic 2 is kind of interesting. This version of Sonic 2 was released in October 1992, just about a full year after 8-Bit Sonic 1, which also means it was released just before the famous Genesis version of Sonic 2 we all know and love. So by technicality, 8-Bit Sonic 2 was the first game to have Tails in it, which is kinda crazy. Another weird thing about this game is how there was a Master System version, but it was only released in Europe, and it never got an official release in the United States until it was put on the Wii Virtual Console in 2008. Huh. Anyways, this game was made by a different company from the first game, Aspect, who shut down about 4 years ago. Damn. Also, I am terribly sorry 8-Bit Sonic 2 fans, but I stopped playing this after just one zone. I am so pathetic. Though, I will say, the Game Gear version is probably a whole lot harder than the Master System version because of the screen crunch. Also, the 4th level in this game is called Green Hills. Remember how the town in the Sonic movie was also called Green Hills? Seeing how a bunch of boomers who knew nothing about the game lore made that movie, I'm gonna assume this was just a coincidence and not an actual callback to 8-Bit Sonic 2. Plus, another big difference between this version and the Genesis version, Sonic can't fucking spin dash. What? Why not? That's stupid! So yeah, I have nothing else to say about this game. Apologies to everyone who expected me to do a joke about how if you don't get all the emeralds in this game, you see this image of Tails in the stars during the ending, pretty much implying that Tails fucking died in his first ever game, simply because Sonic couldn't get all the emeralds in time. So yeah, happy birthday and rest in peace, Tails. I'm out. Sonic Chaos was released on the Sega Master System on October 25th, 1993 in Europe only, then on the Game Gear everywhere else in November 1993. This game was made once again by Aspect, who made 8-Bit Sonic 2. Interestingly enough, the Japanese title for this game was Sonic and Tails. That's a bit strange. Obviously, both Sonic and Tails are playable in this game. Both of them can spin dash, which means this is the first 8-Bit Sonic game where you can spin dash. Tails also has the ability to fly. This is probably the first ever game that let him do that, though it functions a bit weird. Plus, Sonic can use the Super Peel-Out from Sonic CD. Yeah, the Super Peel-Out is in this game. And that's freaking sweet! I gave up again after the first zone. Do you guys see why I never talk about these games on my channel? I have no clue why, but none of these games are really giving me a motive to keep playing them. So I'm kinda just lacking interest? I will give a quick shout out to a fan remake of this game from 2018. Sadly, there's only been one demo of it released 3 to 4 years ago, but hopefully we'll get more info on this project soon. This dude basically Sonic Mania-ified Sonic Chaos, and it's pretty neat. So go check this remake out if you have not. Apart from that, not much else to say about this game. So... Ah yes, Sonic Drift. Released on March 18th, 1994, and only in Japan. Really, only in Japan. I wonder why. I'm starting to see why. This is, This fucking sucks, I'm gonna be real. I mean, I guess the 3D graphics look alright for the Game Gear to pull off. Apart from that, it controls like ass, it's not fun at all, it's pretty awful. I'm just gonna move on from this shit. This'll probably be the first game in this video that you guys are totally cool with me just bailing on. But with that said, my apologies to all the Sonic drifters out there. All 2 of them. Let's get the fuck out of here. What is this? What the fuck is this? Okay, 8-bit Sonic Spinball was released on the Master System in January 1994, and the Game Gear later on. Yeah, there was a Master System version of this game that not too many people talk about. Also, the box art for this version of Spinball not only uses the AOSTH Robotnik design, but it also uses that really cool render of classic Sonic. Of all games to use this, why the fuck is it 8-bit Spinball? But going back to the actual game, god damn it, this is so unappealing to look at. It just feels so empty. Not saying the 16-bit version was a work of art, but this? Who the fuck likes this version of Spinball? Bazinga! Okay, this is so unbelievably dull, boring, stupid. I can't fucking have it with this game. I gotta move on. Final verdict on 8-bit Spinball? No. Sonic Triple Trouble, made once again by Aspect and released on the Game Gear in November 1994. This game is the first 8-bit title to feature Knuckles. Not only that, but it was also the first game to introduce Fang the Sniper, or Knack the Weasel as his American name called him. He's a cool dude. Not much else to really say about him. I like his design, and seeing him again in Sonic Mania was fun. That's about it. However, this game's Japanese title was Sonic and Tails 2, so this pretty much means that Triple Trouble is a direct sequel to Sonic Chaos, which means both Sonic and Tails are once again playable. All of their same movesets from Sonic Chaos are brought back. Yes, including the Super Peel Out. And I think this was also the last main game to use it, at least until Sonic Mania brought it back as an extra. Damn. Also, I made it to the first boss, and I gave up again. I'm moving on. Wow, Sonic Drift got a sequel? Really? However, unlike the first game, Drift 2 actually got a release in America around November 1995. So, they localized the sequel but not the first game? Huh. You know what? Maybe there's a good reason for that. Yeah, maybe this sequel is a huge improvement on the first game. Let's check it out! Huh, this looks vaguely familiar. It's almost like it's the same fucking game! Okay, look, I know some of you Sonic drifters out there are gonna dislike this video and leave a comment like, actually, Cooper, the gameplay in Drift 2 is so much better than Drift 1. You are dumb. You know what? I'll actually give the game this. The graphics are a decent upgrade to the first game. Plus, another impressive fact about Drift 2, I turned it off almost as fast as the first game. Also, Knack the Sniper, or whoever the fuck he is also playable. And he's also on the Japanese box art, but he ended up getting cut off on the American box art. Epic fail. Fuck Sonic Drift, y'all. I'm done with this shit. Tails Sky Patrol was released on April 28, 1995. This was the first ever game in the series where Tails was the main character. And seeing how this was such a major event for the franchise, Sega only released it in Japan. Nice. I don't have a lot, if anything at all, to say about this game because I couldn't get past the tutorial. I suck, I'm sorry. Though one interesting fact I got from reading the Sonic the Hedgehog Encyclopedia is that in earlier builds of this game, Tails was fighting off Disney villains. There's no real details about the game's development history since a lot of that got lost to time, but some fans have basically theorized that Sky Patrol was probably built off some cancelled Disney game. I personally think that a Tails-centered game was a pretty brilliant idea, but Sky Patrol really isn't doing it for me. So, I'd like to apologize to the Tails the Fox fandom, specifically to my friend Emmy Jones. I failed. Oh well. So, moving on to... oh, fuck. Tails Adventure was the second, and so far last Tails game, released in late 95 for the Game Gear. Trying to play this game was a hassle in and of itself for me. I tried playing it on SADX, but for some reason it has this weird dark tint on it that isn't on all the other Game Gear games, so I had to retrieve my copy of Sonic Gems collection and play it there. The emulation was blurrier, but I'll take this over whatever the fuck SADX was doing. For me, the most interesting thing about this game is that it actually takes place before the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I really like the idea of seeing what Tails used to be like before he met Sonic. The only other time we'd see that was briefly in Sonic Adventure. Also, not like you've known this was the plot of the game in America, because the US manual changed the fucking story, just like all the other English translated manuals back then. Great. When it comes to the gameplay itself, I couldn't get past the first level. Again. So yeah, not my thing, not gonna keep playing this. Look, I don't usually have a short attention span for video games, but holy shit, none of these games have drawn me in so far. All I'm gonna say is the next game better be fucking good. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Okay, Sonic Labyrinth was released in November 1995. The plot of this game is apparently how Eggman broke into Sonic's house or whatever while he was sleeping. So Eggman took off Sonic's normal speed shoes and replaced them with slower shoes? Why? Why not just snap Sonic's neck or something? So as a result, Sonic is moving really fucking slow in this game. It's insufferable. Literally, just spin dash everywhere. Spin dash everywhere. It's like the only good means of transportation in this game. Okay, do I really have to explain why I'm not continuing playing this game? Holy crap. And we have reached the last game on this list, Sonic Blast, the last Sonic game to be made by Aspect, released on the Game Gear in late 1996. And good lord, this game has an interesting art style at least. You can play as both Sonic and Knuckles, and this is the first game where Sonic had a double jump. Wow! Knuckles can also glide too, thank god. This game also has Green Hill Zone in it, but I'm guessing they didn't want to pay Masato royalties for a fucking Game Gear game released in 1996, so they just made an original song instead. I actually made it past a few zones in this game, which is pretty impressive for me considering how far I got in the other 8-bit games, but I still gave up pretty early on. I don't have much else to say about this game. However, did you know that there was a Master System version of this game released in 1997? And only in Brazil for some reason? I have no clue why. Did you also know that there was a TV game version of Sonic Blast? And it's just the Game Gear version very shittily emulated. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I bought this thing. I thought it would be a funny joke for the video, but it ended up being just a waste of time and money. just like my YouTube channel. And that's pretty much all I've got to say in play of the 8-bit Sonic games on Game Gear and Master System. I understand why a lot of these games have their fans. I'm just personally not one of them. But I will respect the games for the interesting ideas that they brought to the table, and they're very fascinating parts of Sonic's handheld history, which is why I didn't want to just completely ignore them on my channel. I seriously doubt that I'll go back to these games and give each of them individual and more in-depth reviews, but who knows. No promises though. Also, earlier I brought up the Sonic Chaos fan remake, but there are also fan remakes of 8-bit Sonic 1 and 2 that can get running on Android and PS Vita. So I'd recommend looking up the Sonic 1 and 2 SMS remakes if you guys want to play them for yourselves. While I'm not the biggest fan of these games, these are still really cool fan projects. They're basically Christian Whitehead remasters of the 8-bit games. And with that said, I hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and I'm also sorry if it frustrated anyone watching. But just remember this. I don't fucking know, it's just 8-bit Sonic, dude. Wait, there was an 8-bit version of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine? What the fuck? Why? Who even plays this version?